Let's have a conversation about hexing, or in other words, beating somebody's ass with energy. I don't talk about hexing a lot because it's not something that I choose to glorify or promote carelessly. However, when you're in a situation where casual magic is not working, practical magic is not working, your affirmations are not working, and the truth of the matter is that in all forms of reality, the person or the situation you're dealing with is beyond repair and it's damaging you and it's malicious and deliberate and willful or willfully ignorant, or using weaponized incompetence, or systematically breaking you down to the benefit of the person or the system taking advantage of you, and you can feel the energetic rape in your body. You can feel the energetic pull from your spirit. You can feel the wound and the damage of being energetically sliced open by something that somebody did to you and it was too real to put into words, something that you can't turn the other cheek on, something that you struggle to forgive, something that you can't really forgive and forget, something that is affecting your mind, your body, your peace, your soul, your safety, your shelter, your sanity, your finances, your children, your family, your spirituality, your belief in life, your belief in love, your belief in money, your belief that things can go your way, when you have something getting in your face like that willfully, especially if they pretended to be part of the solution and part of the help, it is your duty to rock that ass. Now, let me be clear. If you've been with somebody for 3 or 4 months and one day they decide that you're not the one for them and it was an otherwise peaceful relationship, but one day it just didn't work, that's not really grounds for it. Now, if you gave 100% of what you had into it, and that person knows and they enjoyed it and they reaped the benefits, but at the end of the day, it was one-sided, or you just hadn't had your needs met, or you started to see red flags, and then it ended. Oh, we might have something to discuss. We might have something to talk about. If you've been with somebody for years, and they know where you're trying to go, but they choose not to go in that direction with you. In fact, they tell you that you don't deserve to be in that direction, and you might have given them things that they couldn't have with anybody else. Oh, that deserves some correction. And right now, we have an era of people who feel that they are untouchable because in the real world, so many of us can say, oh, I dealt with a narcissist, or I dealt with this, or I dealt with that. And the truth is, it's been used so much that it means nothing. And people have embraced being toxic as being part of top tier and savage and ruthless and untouchable and powerful. They've embraced being mean, cruel, sadistic assholes as a part of luxurious power and as a part of their being and as a part of being an unapologetic person. But while there's a time and a place for everything, people don't necessarily need to be bullied. People do not need to be bullied. They do not need to be taunted. They do not need to be tormented. Not when they're minding their business, not when they're pure of heart and intention. Now, are some people pure of heart and intention, yet still foolish, yet still do stupid things, yet still can do mean things? Yes, we all have those tendencies. But it's upon each individual to develop character and quality of character that allows them to outgrow this stupidity and only reserve it for where it's necessary. Becoming violent, becoming reactive, becoming aggressive, becoming confrontational, that's not the way of the warrior. That's not the way of peace. That's not the way of tranquility and power. But do no harm, take no shit. You feel me? Nobody should feel like you are so spiritual or so pure or so kind or so nice or so feminine or so masculine or so soft or so soft spoken or so anything that you won't do what you need to do when it needs to be done. And that's in the physical realm, you know, that you can touch. And that's also energetically and spiritually. Now, you can wield your weapons of hex with the Bible. You can wield your weapons of hex with prayer. You can wield your weapons of hex with intention. You can wield your weapons of hex with spells, candles, and potions. You can wield your weapons of hex with angels, demons, fairies, fae, mermaids, sirens, Orisha, Loa, pagan, Norse, anything you want. You can wield your fuck around and find out in. Okay? But at the end of the day, you are also not here to whoop ass for no reason. So before you do some dark magic on somebody, and by dark I mean hex somebody, curse somebody, cross somebody, before you do the worst of the worst to somebody, please ask yourself, is what they did egregious enough that if I were to die today, tomorrow, or at any point in life, I could look God or whoever I believe in the face and say, this is why I did that, and be like, I know that I might not have, that I might not have, should have done it, but I did that, I know I did, and I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry about that. If you could feel that way for real, like after at least a week of feeling this way, I think you have the case for moving forward. If you realize you don't really think it's that serious, but you're still angry, you're still hurt, proceed to another video. We'll get into that another day. This ain't the video for you. But you can listen, I guess, if you want. Just don't act on anything, because the second thing is you cannot do something you are not 100% certain about, and you need to be mindful of the boundaries you have about doing that. You know, some people will repay something harmful with something extreme. Some people will cause, you know, unspeakable things that I'm not going to talk about just for something that, yeah, it deserves something, but maybe not that. So be mindful of the penalty you want to enact on somebody. And I guess that's going to lead me to my third and most important point for right now. Aim for transformation. And when I say aim for transformation, what I mean is you don't want to just whoop that person's ass and be satisfied with that, energetically, spiritually speaking. But magically speaking, you do want to change that person, don't you? You would like that person to be a better person, don't you? I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going out of my way to do baneful magic on somebody I barely know and barely have enough of a connection for. Like, you are not worth my energy. That's like me deliberately going out of my way to spend money to see somebody I don't like. For what? For what? 9 times out of 10, when you're angry at somebody, um, especially if you've been, you know, cool with them for the most part, if you get angry with them within a week or two, the anger should dissipate and there are things you can do for that. But when you realize somebody has deliberately crossed the line with you and they don't care that they've crossed the line with you, yeah, that's when you go ahead and do something. But at the end of the day, you also have the opportunity to build upon that ass whooping with a change of character. There are spells that you can do. There are intentions you can set. There are prayers you can pray that say, you know what? Rebuild them. change their character, give them a clean heart. Yeah, there are spells you can do that can make a person smell their own shit as if it was smeared all over their face. There are intentions that can be scripted where somebody snaps out of it and realizes that they're not prospering the way they used to prosper or getting the results they used to get because their methods, their tactics, and their strategies have been exposed as deceptive, unscrupulous, and diabolical. And because their actions, their mannerisms, their psyche, their energy, their vibration, and their presence can't be trusted, their money can't be trusted, their words can't be trusted, their heart can't be trusted, their body parts can't be trusted, nothing about them can be trusted. These people end up, you know, getting exposed to people they thought they were going to take advantage of. And at the end of the day, they end up having to, pay for what they've done. And this happens because, you know, that's just how shit go down sometimes. And if you've been dealing with somebody who really doesn't think that there's consequences to the fucked up actions that they've had, chances are the itch to hex them is not only to stop them for you, but you're stopping them from doing this shit to the next person. Think of somebody who has really hurt you romantically, platonically, entrepreneurially, financially, emotionally, a bully at school, or someone somewhere else, whatever. Think of somebody who really made your life hell for a minute or really taunted you in some way or another. You think you were the first person or the only person they did that to? Because even if you felt singled out by the universe for that person to make your life hell, the truth is, more than likely, somebody showed them that this was okay. Whether they were a victim of trauma, which doesn't make it okay for them to perpetuate onto you, or whether they just adopted it from somewhere else. You know, without getting into too much, we are subject to the things that we, soak up our energy with. So whatever you're paying attention to, whatever you're fascinated by, whatever you're attracted to, these things are kind of shaping your viewpoints and what you think is cool. And if somebody's in a frequency where they think making somebody else's life a living hell is cool, maybe a hex, something that drags them to fucking filth, complete with a transformation spell, is what's necessary. Here's how this could work. You hex them. You hex them according to what they did, because I'm not getting into specifics. This is a public video, and I, again, am not glorifying anything specific at the moment. And then as you work through your side of the shit, because you're not only going to have to do their work, you're going to have to do your work. You're going to have to make sure you're balancing out your side of this. You're going to have to take accountability for letting this person um, navigate the way they navigate by figuring out how they got into your frequency, where they aligned in your energy, what beliefs you had at the time that kind of could have brought them in, because your subconscious thoughts, your subconscious belief systems, the things that you might have been programmed to see, accept, and believe from the ages of birth to 7 years old. The things your inner child might be wounded by. Those are things that need to be addressed that once healed will allow you to close the door on being available for those things. Because those things can also be part of your generational curse or part of your individual soul work. Doesn't necessarily have to be a curse. But if you're trying to close the door on something that keeps making itself a cycle in your life and you notice there's a person related to it, you can hex them, stay the fuck away from them, and then have the transformation work done. My two favorite spirits for transformation work are Orias and Dantalion. Orias is great at self-mastery and discipline, and Dantalion I say his name in so many different ways, um, is amazing at mind control, is amazing at shifting thoughts, is amazing at emotional detachment or attachment. Dantalion is an amazing spirit of the mental realm and the emotional realm and the psyche. He can get under somebody's spirit in ways no other spirit can and make that person feel compelled to change their ways. Orias will also get into that person's being in ways nobody can and affect their will. And together, these two spirits can make a person feel good about doing the right thing. They can make a person feel compelled to change their character. They can make a person feel compelled to make amends. They can make a person become compelled to be a better person. Now, I'm not saying this is something that's going to happen overnight. I'm not saying that this is something that's going to happen all of the time with everybody. But what I will say is that if you have somebody that you do have to deal with, whether you want to or not, and you want to take control of your life, and this person is affecting you in ways that are leading you to potentially block your own blessings and self-sabotage or throw away your future, um, what are you waiting for? Work your magic on them. Override their bullshit with your willpower, your energy, and your intention to succeed. Move them the fuck out of your way and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses for people who choose to not do the right thing and stop saying that it's okay. God is going to take care of them. Okay. How many people does God need to realize that this person needs a spiritual ass whooping before somebody else takes up the energy to handle it? Somebody had to go against, you know, Goliath. One day, God infused David with the power to do so, even if David didn't think he was the one to do it. At some point in your life, you will have to stand up to somebody. And you may not be able to do it in the physical realm, but you'll be able to do it in the spiritual realm, in the magical realm. And if it's divinely meant to happen, you won't even need to ask anybody if it needs to happen. You will know, and the energy to get it done will be handed to you. And that's the final secret of it all. But until then, use your magic on you. Somebody pisses you off, put their name on a black candle, tell them I give you thine ass to kiss, and go take a fucking bath. Like, you know, like it's not, fuck them. Like, it's not that fucking deep, you know? But if somebody has abused you, like really abused you, yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about how you have the power to take control of that cord that they've created with you and fuck them up with it. Only if they, you know, really deserve it. But everybody else, don't worry about throwing your dollar bills at that. You could be focused on manifesting money and opening roads to the point where what they did was just remind you of where you wanted to go. Because at the end of the day, when people tend to fuck up their situation with us, it's because they're not going where we're going. So whether you let them go with love or let them go with a swift kick in the ass is really on a situational basis. But again, 9 times out of 10, if you could let it go within 2 weeks or less, again, black candle with their name and say, I give you my ass to kiss and go take a bath. Like, just like whatever. But if it's something egregious and strong, yeah, you have a case for looking at that work, but also understand you're going to have to do your part of the work because your part of the work is also going to come up. And in order not to fall back into that situation with that person, you'll have to do the work so that you will recognize it and avoid it and heal from it and not really deal with it again the way you might have dealt with it before. Um, and also, if you really can't get rid of this person, don't just whoop their ass, but start introducing spells that dominate their willpower and their character and override their mental thinking and mentally overcome them until they become a better person. Or at least give it a chance. But don't do a fucking love spell on them. Don't do a fucking road opener for them. Do a road opener for yourself. Do money spells for yourself. Do love spells to draw energy unto yourself. But do not try to use love spells or seduce this person. Whoop their ass and make them better so that they understand that they're not worthy as they are to continue being in your presence because you've evolved out of their bullshit. And that if anything, they need to catch up or get fucking left behind. And if they don't deserve a fucking chance at all, hex them, leave them the fuck behind, but still possibly transform them from a distance because you're at least stopping them from perpetuating their bullshit and damage onto the next person. What if somebody had done that for you with the person that hurt you before you even got to them and you would have never met that person at all? Sure, life is probably better now than it is before, despite what happened, but why would you have to go through that in the first place if everybody could be on their P's and Q's and the people who needed to get divine magical correction got it as needed? And we focused more on really diving into our creator mode to create the lives and the relationships we want and using the best of our energy to play the hand we've got with the people we've got around us as they come and go in our lives, you know? So, if you were able to grasp this, read between the lines, and enjoy this, thank you. If you weren't, I already told you that this wasn't going to make sense unless you were aligned with this message. But with that being said, have a good one.